So here we are with 27,750. Just unfortunately, just on a bit of a peak there. Let's get out the radio. Whoa, look at that.
QSL, my friend. Oh yeah, I would never knock a tennis ball. I have to say, I did exactly the same round a friend of mine, and we got an end fed about 18 metres up into a tree by just a dog thrower.
Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed. We're downstairs because it's a little bit darker and it's too hot up in the main shack. Now this is part 2 of this Iradio UV-98 Pro review. If you missed the first part, I tested this radio on CB, on FM, and I used this antenna. This is a 27 megahertz, or at least it claims to be, telescopic antenna. It's quite long, it's just a fraction over 1 meter, so it's a quarter wave antenna. I got this on Amazon. I think I paid about 11 or 12 pounds for it. These are all over Amazon and also eBay, AliExpress. I don't know if they're on Banggood. You can get them as little as about £6 or £7 if you're willing to wait for one to come in from China. I don't know about the quality. They all look about the same to me. They've all got a female SMA connector. They're telescopic. This one seems reasonably well made. It extends to just over 1 meter, so it's quarter wave. But I did say on the last video I would show you its SWR on this little VNA Nano. This will tell us how well this tunes. It claims to tune on 27 megahertz with the antenna fully extended, and then if you slightly reduce it, it will tune on 10 meters, which is 28 megahertz. Now, as I'm making the second part of the video, I've got a feeling there might be a little bit of confusion on this Iradio concerning the two antenna inputs, and this has confused me. I must admit, I've looked online before I started this review, lots of conflicting information. Now, the way that I understand it, and the way I'm testing it, is the left hand antenna SMA input is mostly for the HF section, which would be your 2 meter 70 centimeters, your 446. However, you can get the radio to tune on 11 meters on CB, and it transmits from this socket here. The middle antenna socket, as far as I'm aware, and people aren't clear on this, but as far as I'm aware, this is an input purely for the SI4732 chip, which will give you shortwave and also lower sideband and upper sideband. So it's a receiving input. What makes it confusing is that we can receive and transmit on 27 megs on this input as well, so they kind of cross over. But the way I'm treating it, I'm treating this as the input for receiving on a 4732, and I'm treating this one as the output. And as you saw on the previous part, on part 1, it did work absolutely fine on 11 meters. It's going to be a bit confusing. I don't know how people are going to take it, but that's how I'm doing it. Anyway, let's set up this little VNA Nano. Now, we're only interested in 27 megahertz, so I'm going to start at 25 megahertz and I'm stopping at 30, the high end of the 10 meter band. I have calibrated this off screen. Now, you're going to need a little adapter for this one, a little male to male SMA adapter. You get this in the box if you buy one of these little nanos. These are ever so good. I mean, this one came in from eBay, no, it's Banggood. It was less than £30. Really useful. Now, when we test the antenna, what is going to be important, because I've tested these before, is we have to hold the meter in our hands as if we were holding a radio, and this is because of the SWR is going to need ground wave. And when you hold the radio, like so, as long as you don't touch the conductive part, basically you're using your body as a ground wave, and that helps with the SWR. So at the moment we're getting no signal. Just got to get this quite tight. Okay, it's going to extend it. Let me zoom into the screen and let's have a quick look at the SWR. Okay, this is really difficult to do because this antenna is really big on this meter. I'm scared I'm going to break it or break the meter terminal there, but I'm just not touching the antenna with my fingers there, and hopefully you can see on the screen there. Let me just see if I can zoom in so you can read that a little. So here we are with 27,750. Just unfortunately, just on a bit of a peak there. If I go up a little bit, 27,900 into the UK FM, and we're just a fraction over 2.1. Lowest I think it goes down to on 11 meters, about 1.7 there. Shame we can't extend the antenna just a little bit more. I think if it just went a little bit longer, and then it starts to go up. If you go over the 10 meter side, again 1.8 is usable, isn't it? That's a usable SWR. But you can make it a little bit shorter for the 10 meters. So that's our SWR round about here, I guess, for the UK band. So we're just a fraction under 2. Not perfect, but it shouldn't damage the radio. I'm going to move on to a harmonics test now, at least I'm going to try. I'm going to use this really nice Port X VNSA which came in from Banggood. I did do a review on this. Difference on this one though is that I'm instead of using that very large heatsink and reducer that I named Gary, someone did comment on the last video, and I think they're right. They said, have I tested it? Is it resonant over 200 megs? And I'm not really sure. So we're going to use this attenuator here, which is a little tiny one that came in from Banggood. We've got to link this up. We need to get it down to about -50 dB. Okay, that's everything set up. Hopefully we've got the power reduced enough not to damage the meter. Let's get out the radio. Whoa, look at that. That's not good, is it? Let me pause the screen. Sorry about the reflections, it's really hard. Yeah, this is not particularly good. I did wonder about this. So remember when we did the review on this VNA meter, or this VNSA meter, so these little squares, these little graphs are 10 dB. We need 4 of these to give us minus like 40 dB, which is the FCC regulations. Now that's our first transmit signal, the fundamental one there, and as you can see, look, we've barely got 1.5, so that's probably about 15. It says 18 on there, maybe it's 18 dB. We need 40 to pass. Let me just check what that frequency is. So that's quite a high harmonic, and that's the problem with these radios. So that's 54.96 megahertz. The third one, moving across there, 1, 2, 3, 4, just about passes there. But yeah, I mean it's not good, is it? Really, we shouldn't really be seeing that. Ideally, we should have no harmonics at all. It seems to drop off when we sort of go around about the 160 megs, but not impressive, is it? You've got to use this with a little bit of caution. It's not a clean transmit signal. Let's test the 446 and see if it does a little better. So yeah, it might have done slightly better on the 446. We're only showing 2 harmonics there from the first fundamental there. So, but once again, we need 4 of these clear 40 dB. We only need 1, 2, 3, so 30 dB. And then it's our second harmonic. 40 dB would be here. So that second harmonic, which we can find out the frequency, that will not pass an FCC test the way I see things. Around about 892 megahertz. I'm going to try the spectrum scanning mode now. I'm going to say straight away it's not as easy to use as the Kwangshank, but I'm just going to briefly show you how to set it up. So I want to try and scan the airband. So we're on the VFO mode, we've put in 125. Now to activate the scanner, it depends which button you've preset in the key define in the menu to activate the scanner. I've currently set it on 2, so if I push the PTT or that button, we go into scan mode. So straight away now we're scanning from 120 to 130 megahertz on the AM. If this does receive any signals, we won't get any audio at the moment. So to get it into monitor mode, where it stops and actually shows you the signal, you need to hold down the hash key. I've got it programmed. So scanning mode, hold it down again, monitoring mode. We then need to adjust the squelch. Now on the crankshank it was dead easy because you had a line, you could just move up and down. This one's a little bit different in the respect that you can see the squelch is at 70, you have to type it in. So you need to lower it until you hear some static. Let me just extend the antenna a little bit. So we're at 7, let's try 60, so 0, 60. Right, that's too much. 0, 70. Yeah, so 70 seems to work. So hopefully now we're on 120 to 130, any AM and there had a signal come up there, but it just didn't beat the squelch. So again we have to try something else. So 0, 65, 0, 60. So you have to play around with the squelch. Now if you want to change the scan range, you can't just type in the scan range that you would like. Again, that was a good feature on the crankshank. You have to go up to the top here. So we press this key here. So if our space is at 100k, so if we want to expand that, we can put in, for example, 0, 150. Now we've gone from 117 to 132.5, but it's scanning a lot slower because we've increased the range, and I found that a little bit too slow to catch anything. In fact, to be honest, I haven't caught anything on this yet. It's been a little bit deaf, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to put that back as 0, 100.
We're looking at Castle 20. 29 Whiskey Quebec, Airbus 320 with Foxtrot descending level 90. 1014, challenge 29 Whiskey Quebec.
Any descend 9 or 0, right? 2 early on, right? London is a decent Papa Vision, 1 of a 360 monthly. That was a VEJ for Yankee Buckshot. Supervise the 8 for Yankee Buckshot.
India Charlie Echo Tango requested.
282 level B taxi connect 83 level Tango.
It's not all bad though, because as you can see I've now set this on 446 and I've got a dark side PMR radio here. Set the space to 025 and it seems to work quite well. Audio, audio, audio. 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Just come out to do a very basic PMR test on 446, so dark side. As always, the display is a little bit hard to see in bright sunshine, so not worried about range here. It's too hot to walk out too far anyway. Just going to make sure that the audio is nice and clean. Yeah, audio check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, audio check 1, 2, 3, 4. 446 dark side check. Mary had a little lamb. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Just checking the sound of the speaker on the Iradio. It's a little bit strange because the speaker is mounted behind the keypad, which quite a lot of these radios are doing now to save space to give you a bigger display. Not sure how it quite affects the sound. But anyway, audio check 1, 2, 3, 4. Fred is not in the shed.
I'm going to say that these little loops are quite fiddly. I personally think you're better off just with a straight whip antenna. I'm going to swap over to a telescopic antenna. I mean, you know, it's not great indoors really, but not that impressed then really with the sensitivity using a antenna indoors. So I think what I'll do now, we'll go out to the shed shack, we'll put this on my outside antenna, which might give it a better chance.
Also, over the past 2 years actually. So, with that in mind, do you think Albanese can walk a fine line with
aflați aici în Elveția, pe piața muncii și, de exemplu, provocări în găsirea unei locuințe aici.
So the extra 10 foot, the calculations that we did, or that I did, on the plotting software, it actually worked out right.
QSL, my friend. Oh yeah, I would never knock a tennis ball. I have to say, I did exactly the same round a friend of mine, and we got an end fed about 18 metres up into a tree by just a dog thrower. You know, one of the little plastic dog throwers there with a tennis ball in the end and a wire on the end of it. We got it 18 metres up a tree, over. I won't hold it, as we've probably only got a good half an hour left, and by the sound of Toby, I better get a wriggle on, over.
Yeah, roger there, mate, and
Right, okay. Yeah, I didn't really hear that last bit properly, but yeah, go again.
yeah, I said I was on I wasn't on my band.
Yeah, I think it's probably that fan actually, because when you pause, the fan really kicks in. Have you got a noise gate?
I have, but I can turn it off, it's no biggie.
Well, better off leaving it on. You shouldn't pick the fan up when it's on, but anyway. Alright mate, nice to hear you, Dave. Spider Mike.
Conclusion time then. You know, this has been a long video for me to make. It's taken me about 2.5 weeks. We've had heat waves here in the UK and I haven't been able to get up here. And it's taken me, yeah, quite a long time. So I've really got to know this radio quite well. Oh, I've just noticed, just on my shoulder there, can you see? Oh, it's gone again. That 20,00117, that is 20 million views on Fred in the Shed. Can you believe that? So a big thank you. It has been going a long time, but 20 million views. I'm almost up to 60,000 subs as well. Right, back to the radio. Yeah, I have been using this for over 2.5 weeks, so I've got to know it quite well. And some of it has been a bit frustrating because you've got really 2 radios in one here with the 4732 chips, and quite often the menu system on the keys and everything, although you can program them, but they're not the same, and it is a bit of a learning curve. I think I'm going to have to conclude this in 2 halves, really, a bit like I've made the videos. I think if you're like me and you're into a bit of everything on radio and you're not taking it too seriously, you're not licensed perhaps, and you don't mind a bit of dark side, I think you'd really like this radio. I think it's amazing what it offers with the 3 VFOs, all of the frequency range that it covers. I mean, it's incredible. They've packed it in to this radio. And even on the CB, if you're UK, as you saw on the previous video, it will transmit on FM CB. And I do think you'll get a reasonable range out of it for a handheld. As far as the receive goes, unfortunately, I just don't get that much activity on the FM, even with my large antenna, and I can't sit all day and try and monitor it, unfortunately. So I didn't capture any receive, so I wasn't quite sure about that. I do wish it'd have AM though on CB. It was disappointing. I think if they could have squeezed AM, I think that would widen its appeal. Also, it's the value for the money. I mean, what you get in the box, really, you get the programming cable, which I think is a real bonus, and I think other manufacturers should supply that as standard. So, you know, save those stupid, like, kind of like ear pieces with little microphone. I mean, no, I don't want that. Just give me a programming cable every time. Also, these two little shortwave and AM donut antennas. I mean, if you haven't got these, they're worth having. They're not brilliant, but they're worth having. And these on their own with the variable capacitors, these are sort of the higher quality ones, if you like. So there's probably 15 quid's worth of kit there, included in the box. So yeah, as a gadget, listening to a bit of shortwave, a little bit of airband, perhaps a little bit of CB, bit of dark side 446, as a little gadget radio, which is what I'm into really. I say it's great value. And the price that I've got it at the moment, which is on Banggood, and with that discount code that will be in the description, just over £50. That's the cheapest price currently as I'm making this video on the internet. I haven't seen it really much cheaper than that. So I'd say if you like a little gadget and you like all of the toys that come with the radio, I'd say go ahead and get it. You're not really going to get much more of a bargain, I think, at the moment, until they bring out something new, of course. So yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. If you take your radio a little bit more seriously, and let's say you're licensed and you're looking at 2m77s and you're going to hit some repeaters, and you're not so worried about a dark side 446, you might want to listen to a bit of shortwave and a little bit of airband. I think if you take it a bit more seriously, I think you need to look at the harmonics on the radio. Obviously, they've spent a lot of money with the 3 VFOs, the colour screen, and a nice case of the radio, and the wide frequencies, because you've got really 2 receivers in one. But a little bit less, I suppose, on band filtering and internal screening. So it means that the harmonics aren't very clean. I mean, you can get 2m77s radios half this price that I've tested. I haven't tested all of mine yet, but it's cleaner on the harmonics. And of course, on the CB side, I knew it would be pretty bad, and it was quite awful, really. So yeah, I think if you're a serious radio user, this probably isn't going to be the radio for you. But like I say, if you're into gadgets, little toys, a bit like myself, and you just want lots of different functions to play with, then yeah, I'd say it's a good little radio. So that's it for the review. Thanks for sticking with it. It was 2 videos. It has been a long time up here for me. As always, there is a link in the description. If you do want to purchase this, make sure you use that link, and with my discount code, that gets you a little bit of money off. It's good to save a few quid every now and then. But that's the end of the review. Lots of other videos. I've got stacks of stuff downstairs to come up here and review. So yeah, please look after each other. Stay safe. Thanks for the 20 million views. And of course, I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Fred's in the shed where the magic unfolds. Fred in the shed with his trusty CB. He's a friend to the lonely on a frequency.